newsletter, the steps that I did, very good, very
I
good. So
did, yeah.
it's in writing for people. Although when I read it, it's like, oh my gosh, this is 10 times more complicated than it really is.
It
As
does, it does. I try to make it not look as complicated in the newsletter. I don't know if you guys read the newsletter or if you even do yet, but anyways, I try my best.
so here's the thing. So the reason this change is essential is that Bond has taken a step toward, we were always secure by design, but we took another level of security step within Better Outcomes now. And so, because of that, and because of the standards of Canada and also the US and also the European Union, you cannot have multiple people use the same sign in on this increased level of security. We are now logging every single transaction across all users of Better Outcomes Now. And that is that we have to be able to investigate a breach within anybody's system at any time. And if 5 people are using the same login, you cannot identify where the breach happens. And so it is absolutely forbidden. Now, it doesn't be like, switching on the lights and you got to just take care of it right now, but we need to attend to it and take care of it, so that you don't have 4 group facilitators logging in on a group, username that really doesn't represent anybody. It's just a login. So that's the whole reason for this, actually. So, but there are really some easy fixes to this when you have more than one group facilitator. Of course, if you only have one group facilitator, then that person should open the group in their name with their username sign in. So that should be done if there's one. But I'm going to be speaking to when there are more than one facilitator in a group, which I understand that's fairly common with the way you all are providing group services. So just know that you want to get rid of all the group username logins. You want to eliminate those. Now, when I say eliminate them, when you already make the change, you inactivate them. You do not delete them, because you've been doing group this way for some time, and it would delete all of your data with all those clients and all of your groups. So never delete a username that you've been using, only inactivate it. But you do that after you've made this transition. So when I looked in the system, this was a couple of weeks ago when Sean and I were first talking about this. I went in and looked at each of those usernames, and some of them, the groups had not even started yet. There were no clients added to the groups, and obviously no ratings put into the groups. So that's especially easy. All you have to do is create a team in the group's name of the leader of that group, the supervisor of that group, one of the facilitators of that group. Create the group, open the episode of the group and create the raters under one user's name, the leader or the supervisor. Makes the most sense. And then each of the therapists or counselors within that group would be a part of that team, but their role, all of them would be administrator, right? So would require someone to move from a user to an administrator. And when you do that, that allows you all to be able to see that username started by the leader, and you can all get into that group graph and administer the measures when it's your time to be in the group and facilitate it. So it requires a team to be made in the name of the group, a leader to be designated, maybe whoever the supervisor is, and then members of the team who are the facilitators of that particular group to be added to that team. And then the last step is to go into each team member and make them an administrator, so that when they come in and log in, they can go through the user path, click on that user's name of the leader, and get to the graph that way and administer the measures. So
So,
go
Barry,
ahead.
sorry, I'm just going to clarify when for those of you who are in Regina and other areas that aren't having me make people into administrators, once somebody is made as an administrator for that team or that group, they are throughout the system an administrator. It's not just for the group, just so that you guys know that their role changes through the whole bond system, not just for when they're doing group work. Correct, Barry?
That is correct. And so
Okay.
it's just like relying on the ethics and standards of the profession, that you only look at what you're supposed to look at, just like in your EHR, and, et cetera.
Yeah.
You're given access to what you are allowed to have access to. But we don't get into other clients that we don't have any business looking at, basically.
Yeah.
Just like we don't go into file drawers and look at client charts, et cetera. It's the same concept. So yes, you got it exactly right. Now, if you have already started a time-limited group, and it's a time limited, say, I don't know, 8, 16 weeks, and you've already started it, but you only have a couple of client ratings in it, I think the best thing is to reopen the group under the leaders episodes and do the process I just talked about, and then re-enter those a couple of ratings of the client so that you can then just delete that group, the username group, but not the username login. Want to emphasize that because you have a lot of groups under that login. You don't want to lose that data, but you would get rid of that group episode once you've opened it up a new one under the leader's account. So, but let's just say you're running a 16-week group. I don't know how long your groups are, and you have 6 sessions in it already. That's okay. Just finish out this group the way you're doing it right now. No hassle, no muss, no fuss. But when you reopen again for the next group, you do it under the leader and not under that username, and then you inactivate that group username. So this doesn't have to be real stressful, or not. You can complete your time-limited groups that are already in process if you have several ratings in them already. But if you're just starting, go ahead and make the changeover that way. Now, kind of the last scenario, and then I'm happy to answer any questions, or I can elaborate on any of these. If you have an open-ended group, right, which is another possibility. So this one is a little bit more messy, which means that all new group members must be opened within the episode of the leader. That you put the new people on a new graph, a new group episode, and you finish out the people that are still open on the old one, and you still use that graph. So essentially, you'll be using 2 graphs. So if there is a facilitator, if you have 2 facilitators, you probably want to have both graphs open on your tablets if that's what you're using, or on your laptops, I guess, if you have to stay wired. But so you'll want to just let the ones that are open already just run their cycle, right? And then the new people coming into this open-ended group start up under the new episode, not from that group username episode. Is this clear as mud, or is it making sense?
Yeah, you guys, ask questions. I think, Barry, is it possible to show us? Can you show on Bon for us how to create the team under a person and, run it, do the groups, like add members and then, add a person, add a client? Would that be
Sure.
okay?
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
In the
If I can't
meantime,
do
do you
if I
guys have
can't
some?
do that, if I can't do that, that would be a real problem.
Well,
Yeah,
I wasn't going to say anything, but yeah, probably.
yeah, any questions before I do that, or when I see it, you can stop me anytime and ask me, what the heck I was doing.
Everybody's pretty quiet, so I feel like, do you all have a good grasp of it? Is it just me who's confused? Probably.
So how do I share my screen? Is that share button there? Is that what that's about?
Share at the bottom. Yeah, you should be able to. I don't think I have to make you present or anything. You should be able to share whatever you need to, I think.
Okay, let me get Bon open here.
So, Jen and Celeste, I see you're on. So you guys haven't started your groups yet at Calder, or have you?
There we go. No, we haven't done as much as we were hoping to right after the course. We've been undertaken with new electronic RTC stuff these
Yeah.
days. So just trying to stay afloat.
And our IT, we're struggling with IT just for that electronic piece. So we're still trying to figure out the IT so that we can utilize the tablets for class as well.
Yeah, I remember Patrick was saying you guys might need boosters and stuff there too, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is good thing though. This is a good thing. But what it basically means though is that you'll have to change the sign-in information that we originally created for your groups, right? So,
Right, okay.
okay, good. That's what you'll be working on for when you're ready to go. Is it working?
There wasn't permission, from the
What?
computer. You have to give permission to be able to share, and it says I have to close the WebEx meeting to be able to share my screen. So
Okay,
I'll jump right back on right after I do it.
Well, just wait, I made you presenter. See if
Oh,
it'll work, see if it's gonna work now. I made you a presenter. You should now maybe be able to share.
Okay. Try here.
Isn't WebEx fun, Barry?
I'm so used to Zoom, that, okay, great. And it's all good. I think it's going to make me do it before it allows me to share, even in that case. Yeah, it keeps telling me to open system preference. I've already, changed it to allow Cisco WebEx to do it, but it's not. So it looks like I'm going to have to close it and reopen.
Okay,
So that's what I'm going to do.
okay, well, hopefully you come back to us.
I'm open.
What about you guys in Regina? Is this gonna be something that you're gonna have to, like, are you going to close out groups and restart, or how is that gonna work for you?
Probably just start fresh. Like we have a 16-week closed group and we're over halfway through both of them. So
Okay,
I'm starting a new group on next Thursday. So I'll just start fresh.
perfect.
We had one that started this week, so I think we'll just restart
Okay,
that one. And we do have a continuous one, so that one
Okay.
will be a little bit more messy, but
yeah. So then just as he said, as new clients come in, then just re-add those. You'll just have to work with what your old system and your new, I suppose, hey?
yeah, I don't think it'll be
Okay.
too bad.
Okay, perfect. Good. That's great to hear. Carla and Terry, what about for you guys? Is this something you're gonna have to start fresh, or?
Yeah, it'll be fresh for us because our groups right now for the adult team are on pause anyway. So
Okay,
it kind of works out that we can implement the new process when we start our groups again.
right on. Okay, good. Good, okay. I like that.
Are you seeing my screen?
I can see it. Can you guys see it? Thumbs up, good, yep.
Oh,
Perfect.
great. Super. Now this is a dummy account. These aren't real people. So as you probably suspect when you see Porky Pig and Bam Bam and Barney Rubble, you'll know they're not real people, but nevertheless. So this is the profile page. But what needs to happen is there needs to be first a team created. So I'll create a team. Which is the ubiquitous green plus sign here, right? And we got to select a group leader. So let's call, oh, Shauna, you're in here. Let's call you Shauna Cartoons. And this is what? Adult Thursday group? Is that okay to do? So I've saved that. So there I have Adult Thursday group. And now, there's my leader right there. It's Shauna Cartoons. And now I'm going to add the members, which is this, again, the green plus sign, because I'm adding members. And here are the folks that are going to be. How many people do you usually have facilitating a team?
I don't know, I would say it ranges from like 1 to 2 to 3. We have some that have like 4 or 5 actually, because they rotate through shifts, so.
So I'll do 4, but remember, with people with just one group leader, they should open up the episode under their own account, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So let's just pick 4 people here. So let's pick, Barbara and Nora and Barry and George. So we have 4. I've attached those people. They're now part of the team, right? So here's the team name, and then I have the 4 group members here. Now, I've created the team. Now I got to go and I got to remember who these people are because I have to change them all to administrators, right? So that's what I'm going to do now. So I go to account and then I'm going to go to users. Now I'm at the users page, right? So I can go into everybody's account here from the users page. And so I need to have someone change all the group members to administrator. So let's see. Need to update her. So I click on her name. I go to her, user detail page, and then I click on the edit icon. And I see her role as a user. I'm making her an administrator. Save. So I've done her. And George was another one. I edit him. He's now an administrator. And I think I'm already an owner. And she's already an owner. So those 2 are all good. So change all the members to administrators. We've done that. Now let's go back to accounts and look at the team again. We have the team completely constructed now. There they all are. And they all are roles to where they can see everybody in the team. They can get to the graph on this. So, but what we need to do now is to open the episode in the leader's account, right? But this would be up to the leader to do. Now, I'm not logged in as the leader, but I can do it through the user path. So that's what I'm going to do. And episodes. And I'm in the episodes now, right? Which you would do to create the group itself. And so the group is going to be the Thursday adult group, I think is what we called it. If I can type. Shauna is the leader, right? She's the provider opening the group is what I should have said. And this, of course, is a group service. So we've saved it, right? And now we're going to add the clients to the group episode. Remember, there's always a 2-step process. You open the episode, which is the episode of service, so the kind of service you're providing, and that's individual, couple, family, group, and then you add the raters or the clients. And of course, that's all on one page now. That's been streamlined quite a lot, actually. You don't have to get 2 clicks to do it. You just do it. You open the episode, and here you start opening the raters in that. So, I add the raters to the group. You now can put names and better outcome downs, or you continue the identifiers as you've always done. So whatever, you do in that province is okay with that. And so let's just go Bob Jones. He's an adult, English all the way down. You created the client, right? And we'll create one more since it's a group. And this is Tom Smith. He's an adult. Now, also, I hope you know that on your profile page, if you only see adults, you would set your preference to adults. You would never have to click on adult again. It'd save you a nanosecond whenever you open a client. And then save. And so we've created the group, right? So whoever now logs in as a member of this group, because they're now all administrators, all they have to do is to go, of course, the leader who created it can go through their account to get to the group, but all the other members of the group that didn't create it, they just have to go to the account page, go to the users, and go to that group leader, right? And then, hit the episode and do Thursday. That should bring it up. And there it is. There it is, right? went to the episode, and now I'm everything I want to do. I can go to the graph from there. I can go to the individual rater graph from here by clicking on any of the raters and going, and there's the graph. Of course, we don't have any scores in yet. So that allows everybody to be, on their shift, on their time when they're seeing the group. They have access to all the information they need because of the administrator status that they have.
And they can add any ratings in here as well.
Yes.
For the
Yes.
class, right.
But
Okay.
they have to go, that route through
Right.
the leaders from the user page. That's how they have to get there.
So most of our clinicians are users, so they don't have access to everybody.
Right.
So they're not used to that. So again, to note for you guys, when they're made administrators, that's when they're going to be able to see the people who are also connected to that group, right? As users. Does that
That's
make
correct.
sense to you guys? Yeah, okay. Okay, that was one thing that was confusing to me. I'm like, but how are they going to see people? But when you said, well, no, it changes, everybody's like, viewing options and all that kind of stuff. Yes, okay, now it makes sense. So
And there might be a little education, Shauna, around, they have that functionality for this purpose, and they really shouldn't be messing around with the other administrative functions that role has
yeah.
as well.
And I think we have so very few groups. It doesn't change a lot of our clinicians' status necessarily. I honestly would say maybe 15 in the province, to be honest. So, yeah, there would be that education piece for sure. For those of us who are going to even watch this video, you should note that. The other thing to note is reminder, we do not use client names in Saskatchewan. So stay with your identifiers that you were previously using, CMH numbers or whatever the case may be. So you may have to have that list if you're searching for something, or you can always just click forgot whatever the prompt is there, forgot, and then it gives you the list of your clients or your raters.
Yeah, you
Right.
just hit reports on the raters,
Reports,
and
yeah.
there they are. Now let me tell you something about this page. It goes from oldest to most recent. So if you opened a client, last week, they're going to be in the bottom of your pile. So go ahead and cut to the chase. Let's see. Let me do it from an account point of view, so you see more people. Reports and open. Seeing here, wow, I opened this person, yesterday or last week. They're going to be at the end of my list. Right. And a lot of people ask the question, and rightfully so, why isn't it alphabetized? Let me explain that to you. When you are encrypting all of the information in a system, it cannot alphabetize. When you go to the hospital and you're checking in and they ask you your date of birth, they don't ask you your name. And that's because it's encrypted. Your name is encrypted. And so to get an encrypted name, it only comes in a list. And it would be a list of thousands of people. And so the way that you grab pagination is 10 at a time, but it would only alphabetize those 10, and then it would grab another 10 and alphabetize those. So you wouldn't know where the heck you were in that context. That's why we debated whether or not just to show the list, the whole list, just keep scrolling down. But we decided not to do that because a lot of people don't close their clients in a timely way. And so the list would be, just go on and on. It'd be harder to find your clients in a list like that than it would ordering them. This is the way it can be done with encrypted, names and ID numbers. So that's our rationale. We're still thinking about that. I know it was hard for people to get used to not having the list right there in front of them, but that's the reason why. And that's the reason why hospitals and medical facilities always ask your birth date, not your name, because they can't search by your name in an encrypted file.
That's good to know. I did have people ask me that, and I was like, I do not know. I'm not sure, you guys. We'll have to
Yeah, we
ask Barry.
really tossed that around a lot, but we did it in like on my phone. I was looking for a client, and it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I went, who's going to want to do that?
Yeah.
Now, if you guaranteed that everybody closed their clients in a timely way, and maybe you had 35 open clients, that wouldn't be so bad. But if you have 70 or 100, it gets kind of crazy, basically, without pagination. Pagination allows you to Especially if you know about how long you've had the case open, you can find it pretty quickly. But you know, that's the rationale for it. Is this whole encryption business.
Okay. So let's say the group that we just created is over. And so now, because it's a closed group, we inactivate that group and restart a new group. Okay. So then do we need to change group name as well?
No, you don't have to. I mean, you
Okay.
could if you wanted to, you know, for some reason know specifically one group from another, although you'll know from the open and close dates. But, you know, it would be easier because, you know, when you call the group up, you know, all of them with that name would come up and you could look at the one you want. So you could say, you know, adult group Thursday, you know, fall, summer, spring, or winter. You could do something like that. Or
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. You could identify it differently like that. But that's
Okay.
exactly what you do. You would close that group, right? So it'd go into your closed database and you would open that same group, you know, under, you can do a different name or not.
Okay.
If you go into the search, like you went into the search and search the episode, they would all come up. Like if you had 4 of them for the last year, they would all come up here and you could look at any of them you want.
Right.
And you could look at the open and close dates, determine, you know, when they were closed.
Okay. Good. Does that make sense to you guys too? Okay. All right. Any other questions or anything that you would like to see about that while he is sharing his screen?
Could you just show something about if we're inactivating for a newer group and switching to this team leader way? What are we doing with those partially completed group members to switch over?
Good question. So once you've, you know, made the new episode and added those same clients to the new episode, you can actually delete that those clients from that group, and then you would inactivate that username. Because of you inactivate it, because all the past data you've done that with would still be saved, but the current ones that you reopened under another group, you can actually delete those clients because you've reopened them in their a new group and added their 1 or 2 ratings or whatever it was into that group. Does that make sense? So you would go, let's just say, you know, our team here, and I would want to go into, that's not the way I want to do it. It was a group episode, so it still was a group. So you would, let's do the, is that what I called it? I must have called it something else.
I thought you said Thursday.
But I did too. Oh, I'm in my episodes rather than account is why.
Oh,
Yeah. There it is. So, you know, you would just go into that group that you've created the old way, and you would just close the raters first, and then you would delete them. Or you could close the episode and then delete it as well, and that will get rid of everybody. You close it. There you go. And then, but don't do this until you have the new group opened with the clients back in that new group. That would just mean that this, you know, is really dummy data at this point because you've reopened them in another group the way that we discussed. And I can just delete the group here and it's gone. And that's all on one page. You know, all the case management functionality is in the episode side, and all the clinical functionality is on the rater side, is a way to think about that.
so when you delete this though, all of that data is going to be gone,
From just this episode.
but it still shows up on stats.
No, not from this episode. Now,
No,
now there are
okay.
2 different things here. This is the episode that's opened, not the user
Not the
login.
user. Okay.
Think of
Okay.
that user login as a person who has all this group, you know, in their past. If you delete that user login, all those clients would be gone. So you just want to inactivate them. So you know, you would, when you get to that point and you go to the users, right, you would inactivate them by, again, let's go to a user, and you'd simply inactivate them right here. You wouldn't delete them. You
Right.
just inactivate them, and that way all of their past data will always be there from all those groups that you did. Because this is, if you did this and activated them, and then you did this, all their data would be gone, it'd be irretrievable. And so you don't want to do that. So you want to just caution people about that, please, as much as, you know, as much as possible. When in doubt, don't delete.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but- So that's just the thing to be careful about that.
Okay, does that make sense, you guys? Yes? Okay, right on. Any other questions? Again, while he's on here with his phone. Ask now or forever hold your peace, because don't be asking me later. I'll be sending everybody the video 5, 6, 7, 8 times.
You know, if you have any other questions about Better Outcomes Now, that's okay too. Ask me while we have it open here. Oh no, I know what I can tell you too. That is a change. Before, I don't know how often you all do this, you enter paper and pencil scales for whatever reason. That you used to be able to add them all on the same day, but you can't do that anymore, because people wind up getting things out of sync by entering, you know, like 5 ORSs on one day because they had them all and they entered them. You can't do that now. You can only enter one per day of the measures. So that keeps things in sync better. So if you happen to have to do more than, you know, say you have 2 that you've done the last 2 weeks and you have to enter them, you just have to, when you enter it, change the date to what it actually should have been when you administered it. So it's not that you still have to enter it manually, so change the date to when you actually administered the measure. Don't try to put them like both on May 10th, because it'll tell you the second time you've already entered one on this day. So it's a pretty easy fix, just to change the date when you put it in. But that's different. That's a difference. We just tried to clean up not having orphan accounts. Or what would happen is that when you put in the same date, we allowed that. I mean, because we just, you know, let people enter. What it would do is that it wouldn't know which one was actually supposed to be first. And so it would cause things to be out of sync. And so it didn't happen very often because not that many people did it, but it was, that's the way we fixed that, which just restricts it a little bit more how you can enter the data.
I think most of our clinicians that use paper were doing that anyways, post or, you know, making it like the past date or whatever.
That's the way it was supposed to be done, yes.
Yeah, that's what we teach. That's what we teach in the training anyways. So yeah,
That's good. That's the correct way to do it.
yeah,
But sometimes people get in a hurry and
yeah.
just forget to do that or don't do it.
Okay. Anything else, you guys? No? Everybody's feeling kind of okay about it? All right. I don't have anything else either. Like I said, I'll share the recording here with our pretty much all of our, you know, champions and team leads here, even if they don't run groups, just because there's some really good information that you presented, Barry. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to stop the recording right now.